Hello, everyone. Is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and I'm drunk. Okay, so number one, this video is named My Boys. If you get offended by that, then be offended by that. It's meant to be endearing. Like I said in my last video, My Girls. Number two, unlike that video, I am not dressed up for the girls and I did not put on cologne because that's not what you guys, my boys, want. You want drunken honesty. So that's what I'm going to give you in this video. Okay, so then I'm going to just give you a little bit format before we do this, like I do in a lot of my other videos. All right. So like in my last video, my girls, I'm going to first tell all my boys, you guys, why you should really value women more than you are now. I understand it's like this whole respect war, we talked about it in my last videos. Um, and then I'm going to tell you why I agree with you and I think you have moral high ground here. And this is where in the future people will say, I'm taking your side, and he's just a typical man or whatever. But yes and no. I've told you most all my dealings with women are good these days. But you do have the moral high ground, but I'm going to tell you how you are losing the moral high ground in some of the aspects that you guys are doing and, displaying on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot. And then I'm going to show you that, this battle has been going on forever. And I've talked about economically speaking, it's not really your guys' fault. It's the baby boomers' fault. We talked about in the past. And then I'm going to, and this is where they're going to say that I'm having some bias towards men because I'm a man and everything. But I alluded in my girl's video how the bear meme is like one of the most brilliant things I think that you guys have done. And so I'm going to explain why or show you at least my favorite memes that I did not come up with. And then do a little Tupac prophecy with a theme song for all you guys. And then I'm going to give you some for like the real, you know, ones that are burnt out, the Stoics, that you're really doing the monk thing and trying to do self development, just pile up cash and everything. As I've done in the past, I got three books that you should read. And then that'll be the end of this video. Okay, firstly, why should men intrinsically value or respect women on a human basis? Is because I talked about it in my last video, my girls' video, is because their reproductive system. Listen, both men and women, our number one miracle is our brain, uh, biological quantum computer and everything. But I'm going to elaborate on why women's a ability to reproduce is so miraculous. Okay, so men, horse racing, horse racing, um, Triple Crown. Yeah, it's the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. I mean, look it up if you guys don't understand the analogy so far. But there's been few horses in history that have ever completed the Triple Crown. But the most famous is Secretariat, and he won by a huge length in the last race, the Belmont, and therefore most modern race horses are in some way genetically descendant upon Secretariat. And so, but Secretariat was a male, and all Triple Crown winners that I'm aware of have been male horses. It's always 2 to 3 year old horses, which are called colts and fillies. So all the Triple Crown winners have been colts. But my thought experiment to you is if next year there was a 2 to 3 year old female horse, a filly, that won the Triple Crown and crushed as hard as Secretariat, would her breeding rights be worth, you know, less, more, or exponentially more than any other horse that won the Triple Crown in history? And instinctively, you would say her breeding rights would be worth way, way, way more than any male horse that won the Triple Crown for the obvious reason. And the obvious reason is that the females have the babies. Males can have, plus they have to carry them for X amount of months, no matter what the species is. Men can have babies in parallel, multiple babies from multiple women at multiple times, because we're not actually the ones that have to have the babies. And the females can only have the babies in series, one after another, even if they have, twins or triplets or whatever. So, in the horse racing analogy, her breeding rights would be exponentially more valuable than any male horse that's ever won the Triple Crown, because she has to become pregnant and then actually give birth to the baby horse that she gives birth to, and that takes time. And she also, as well as any other female in the universe or in the world, I guess, uh, she risks death to do so. Like, for procreation, except if we have like a heart attack during the act and everything, we our mortality rate for making babies is almost zero. But for females and babies, the mortality rate is never zero. It never has been, and it never will be. It's always above zero. And that's why their genetics are so much more valuable than male genetics, is because they can only pass them on to an X amount of descendants. All right, so I know like over 7 minutes in this video, and it's named My Boys, and it seems like I'm always just giving the girls props or whatever, but I promise it's going to be going down for hill for them soon. Truth, but I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm going to front load this video for the people that are willing to watch it. So the last thing I'm going to say is conduct, and I've watched a bunch of videos for you guys, like warring everything on dating. And what I gotta say about you boys is, like, if you're truly trying to go your own way and doing self-development, which I'm gonna help you with later and everything in this video, if you watch it, is that if you're if you're gonna do that, then you don't really need to mess with the girls at all. And so your biggest infractions are understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to fuck with their money and their time, because that's how you felt that they treated you. But again, if you're going to take the moral high ground, you can't be doing that stuff. And plus, if you're trying to self-develop, you can't be like wasting your resources just to get back at the girl. So, okay, the number one infringement is, I guess, running out on a date and leaving her with the entire check. Number one, that's just petty. Well, the girls do that to us, everything. Exactly. If you want the moral high ground, you can't do that to them. Number two, canceling on dates at the last notice. Again, they're getting all their makeup on. That does take a cost and the time and everything. So you're fucking with their time and their money, because that's what they did to you, or you could just ignore them. In any variation of that, I could go on this forever, but if you're trying to go your own way, then go your own way and do the stoic monk thing. But if you want to date them, then you still have to do it in good faith. So how you do that is, if you're doing the drizzle thing, then just tell them up front, like, girl, you paying for this. I'm a prince, And if they're like, oh, I'm not going to do that, like, okay, happy hunting to you, block, move on to the next. If you're doing the 50-50 thing, again, do it up front. And if they're like, oh, no, I won't ever do that, you ain't, then, okay, happy hunting, block, and then go on to the next. But you can't have the high moral ground on here where we're going to get into this where you do, as long as you're not doing this petty shit. That's how you got to play it. You can't, well, that shit happened to me, so I feel free to do it to other people, because that's the worst of all, like, sin in the world. That shit happened to me, I survived it, and therefore I have the right to do that to other people, and that's not really how it works. So that's all I'm saying. If you want the moral high ground, then take the moral high ground. But, you know, if you're doing some petty shit that they did to you, you're losing the moral high ground every single day, and it's just going to get into a slogfest. All right, so now, like, almost 11 minutes into the video, I'm going to finally get to you boys and while your gripes are totally legitimate. They're not any gripes. And this has been going along for a long time. It's just metastasized into this current situation for a varied of things that, we probably need not talk about today. But here's the first part about how this has been going on for a long time. This is a song from back in the aughts. As you can see, the song is by a guy named Amen. It's kind of a one hit wonder. It's named I Don't Want You Back, about a girl that cheated on him. And this girl's name was Frankie. And like a couple months later, she put out another video, like a retort video. And this is it. Okay, first video, Amen was basically singing about how, you know, he thought she was the one and he was hurt and all of that stuff. But in the second video is a lot about of your gripes with current modern women, and that's that, like, her first line is like, fuck what I did, it's your fault somehow. So zero accountability. And then there's another verse where she says, where, like, if you think that's the only guy that I cheated on you with, you're wrong. And then she talks about how I only cheat on you because you're bad in bed, you can never make me come. And it's just the whole plethora of, on it, non accountability, what did he do shit that modern women say today when asked about that stuff. So again, this shit's been going on forever, since the beginning of time and everything. It's just social media, and obviously dating apps, more so than ever, have, again, metastasized. I know I use that word a lot, but, like cancerous growth, that's what's happened in the near term. So these days, and I've still been watching a lot of videos on YouTube these days about back and forth between men and women. And it's interesting that some women are just breaking down, and, not all, but some of them are like, yeah, we are wrong. We do need a man, blah, blah, blah. And because it's on TikTok, and I only see the YouTubes of the TikToks, the compilations and everything. But what I feel, what's going to happen in the future is that, men are going to start memeing it, and this is one of the memes they're going to use. This is just like me prophetically speculating here. But, when they're like, no, we've changed. We really have changed, and we want you all back, and the guys are all going to be like, all right, and now that we're in total boys zone, or my boys zone, we're going to talk about memes. And I alluded about it in my last video, the My Girls video, but, like, the most brilliant shit that you guys have done is the bear meme. Because when they came out with that, would you rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a man? And all the women are like, a bear, a bear, a bear, and the subtext of that was, well, the bear is probably going to kill me, but he's probably not going to rape me first, you know? And, you know, that all men were dangerous. And we're not. I would never hurt any woman or any man for that matter physically. I might hurt you with my words, you know? So, but because of that, the brilliant thing is, meme wise, all of you men were like, so you're saying that you're more sexually attracted to bears than men. And that's the brilliance of the joke. You know, like I would never hurt you. Why are you more like, so if you'd rather be in the woods with the bear than me, then you want to fuck the bear, you know? And that's the brilliance of, you know, and the other thing is they say that true creativity, uh, especially humor, borders right on, you know, madness. And you guys are so creative and so funny that, you know, you might have some mental problems. Just hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, me too, though, you know. So, in that light, I've alluded how I came up with some like bear memes of my own, which I have, and I'll do those in the future, except I don't have Photoshop and don't know how to use it, and I'm obviously doing other things. But I found three memes that are just so awesome that I'm going to show to you and do some monologue. And so this is the first bear meme. And I'm going to do them in my favorite, you know, first, second, third. There's only three of them, obviously. Bear meme number one. Your girl and the bear she told you not to worry about. For the Zetas, Gen Z, don't call yourself Zoomers. That's horrible. So for the Zetas, this is like crazy awesome and everything. And I like the poses and everything. Number two bear meme. I know, man. Just treat her like she's a real person and stop being creepy. And it's so funny because, you know, it's like some guy talking to some, whatever, Chad or Tyrone. Like, how are you so good with women? It's like, I don't know, man. Just treat her like she's a real person and stop being creepy. All right, and the last one, and the like original comment for this is a bear that was trapped in the woods with a woman for a week or a woman for a week, and he's like, they were so mean, and the man's like, I know, buddy, I know. Like I laughed at this one, like I still can't stop giggling at this one just because they were so mean. I know, man, I know. All right, long video begin to the end. This next one is a screenshot of a music video that encapsulates this situation for you guys. It's by Tupac, and it's a song named All About You. And here it is. All right, I will admit I left that clip on 8 seconds duration or whatever because you should listen to the song and everything. It's like he's singing about the very women that you dislike these days, and this is 30 years ago. He's singing about these hoes, you know. So it's amazing. So now, at this end of the video, for the people that got here, as promised, I am going to give you some books to read. And this is for all those guys that truly are on the whole monk stoic adventure. It's not like you don't have to swear off women and everything, but the whole self improvement thing. So we're gonna do these in order. I've read all these books multiple times. The last one I'm reading it multiple times, but I'm going to do a little interlog and hopefully this will help you out. Like I said, if you're really on that journey, then these books should help you out. Number one is The Prince by Machiavelli, and I had to do a screenshot of this because I have the physical book somewhere or I lost it, but that's the one that I read. This is the least important. Yeah, it has to do with how politics and interactions are actual science, kind of. But, in all, this book is just like a job interview for Machiavelli. And look it up if you don't understand what I understand about that. Why, historically, how this relates to Tupac is that, as far as I know, Jim Carrey sent letters to Tupac while he was in jail and sent him this book, and Tupac read it a lot, and that's why he took on the maniform of Machiavelli. Except he didn't really like Machiavelli that much. He was just saying that, you know, there is a science to politics, and these guys did that well, and I did that badly. That's why I'm in jail, and so I'm never going to let that happen to me again. So he kind of like identified with pure politics when he didn't like it at all. But that's how, in my opinion, the Machiavelli maniform manifested. All right, so these last two books, I have them obviously, and the second to last one and second one is Sun Tzu's Art of War. And this one is about tactics and strategy. It's a many people have read this book. I've probably read it 50 times now, and it's a good book about. And this is like one of the things that I'm trying to teach actually women about men is that even a book like that, it's not about conquering, it's about winning. And this will be emphasized in the last book that I show you here in just a second. Okay, and thirdly, the third book, and this is the most important one. And I've read this once, I'm almost twice everything, but this is the Five Rings, aka the Five Scrolls by Mushashi. Um, and it is even a more individualistic book than The Prince or The Art of War and everything. He truly talks about what he calls the way. And after you've learned the way, you need no other teachers. You can only teach yourself by your interactions with others. And it's a beautiful book. And that specific one that I got from Barnes and Noble, like just the print and the paintings or whatever, the illustrations inside are absolutely beautiful. So I would highly recommend, if you have $10, go to Barnes and Noble and get that book and read it, because it's life changing. You will truly understand the path, the way, And he talks about, he found his way in swordsmanship, but there are many ways, infinite ways, and that's what the book is really talking about. All right, long video, long by necessity. My next video is going to be on the Oedipus complex, and maybe more complicated than that. But as always, rule number one, do not touch another person without their consent, aka do not hurt each other. And rule number two, it's all about honesty. Lies are ticked down, aka try not to lie. All right, as always, I love you all very much. You have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.